Rose Thorn Bud. Rose Thorn Bud is an activity for collecting feedback. It's great for retrospective, and it's just a really nice tool because it's balanced feedback. We've got roses, things we liked, thorns, things we didn't like, buds, opportunities for the future, things that you might commit to doing next time a little differently. So let's take a look here. We'll dive into this demo meeting and we'll click Add New Activity, and we will select Rose Thorn Bud. We've got a default name and default prompt. Always invite you to change the prompt to something that might suit your audience better. Is there something about the work you're doing or the project that you might be able to be specific about that will draw them in and get them more engaged? Of course, the name is just a friendly name that helps you find it in the list. Add activity. We can, of course, find the activity here in the dropdown and flip to it. We've also got this handy link here that will allow us to flip over. Now, Rose Thorn Bud is based off of Note and Categorize, and if you look at settings, you'll notice that there's a bunch of settings that are grayed out, and this is just to show you how it works. Note and Categorize is a premium feature, so if you wanted to change the behavior, for instance, if you wanted to allow them to submit more ideas or to do it in parallel, then you would need to upgrade to premium and just create a note and categorize and set it up the way you'd like. So if this is going to be a handy reference for Rose Thorn Bud or any of the other derivatives of note and categorize, if you look at the settings, it can remind you of how it works. So one idea per category, that means one rose, one thorn, one bud per person. And then we've got 0 votes. So we're not going to do voting on this Rose Thorn Bud activity. It's going to happen in serial, which means that I'm going to advance people through. So they're going to think about their roses, then their thorns, and then their buds. We're not going to show the previous category because you don't need to think about your roses when you're writing your buds or your thorns. And then, of course, we're going to do a round robin share out, which means that once everyone submits, then we'll go around and collect and let everyone share their roses and thorns and buds. And of course, our categories are rose, thorn, and bud. So let's go ahead and cancel this. And I'm going to copy my participant URL. We're going to come and paste that in, and we're going to see this rose, thorn, bud activity. And we notice here that it is currently on roses. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in some roses. I'm going to say I like the food, I liked the music, I liked the games. And then I'm also going to type in some in another browser. But before I do, I want you to see here in the participant view where we've got, the facilitator view, you can see that 0 out of 2 participants have categorized. And that's because even though I went to the wrong window. Even though I've typed some in, I haven't actually categorized them. So let me go ahead and pick the primary one. I'm going to say, I really loved the music. It was really great. And so now as the facilitator, I can see that one participant has categorized their one rose. So I'm going to say something over here on the other side, and then I'll bump us to the next category, which now we're on thorns. And so each of the participants will enter their thorns. That we missed the second game, and then as we saw earlier, we can type as many as we want in, and we'll just select the one that we really like. We can pull it out if we want to move something else up. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that as the primary. And then as facilitator, I can advance it over to the buds now. And we're going to say the opportunity is to use rose, thorn, bud in my next meeting. That's my bud. And then maybe their bud is to try a time timer. Cool. So remember, they have to be categorized because they can add as many as they want, but then select the one that they're going to share up. And then let's review the results. And so we're going to start by reviewing Douglas's results. So we'll say, Douglas, you want to share out? And it's like, oh, I love the music. Disappointed we missed that game. and I'm going to use Rose Thorn Bud. And then as facilitator, once Douglas is done, we can say next participant. And now D says, oh, I love the food. Didn't like running late, and I'm totally excited about the time timer. When we hit finish, we'll see all the activities listed out, all the different inputs from our participants listed out, and we'll have a download link and a print link that we can download a CSV of all these, as well as we can, of course, send a live scribe, etc., like the other activities. All right, that is Rose Thorn Bud. Thanks for listening, and talk to you soon.